What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm LotusAsakura, the Never Knows Best, and today I want to bring you guys another video talking a bit about Tekken 8 and going over some stuff because I've seen a lot of discourse, or actually concerns, probably the better word, about Tekken 8 after that trailer that we just got at the Game Awards. Now, as you guys know, if you saw my video, which if you haven't, it'll be linked below and as a card at the end of this video and maybe up there as an annotation or whatever. I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to the game a lot. Tekken 8 and Project L, the two games I'm looking forward to the most right now. I know Street Fighter 6 is on the horizon, and we're going to get our hands on that game long before we get either of those other games I just mentioned. That being said, since the release of the trailer that we got, I've seen a lot of different takes, tweets, opinions, and whatnot on Twitter, people questioning the game and basically jumping to a lot of conclusions or kind of just blowing things out of proportion, in my opinion. And I kind of want to go through some of that today because I've seen people questioning things such as, will the game have sidesteps, and is this going to be the scrub Tekken, even though depending on who you are, some people think Tekken 7 is the scrub Tekken because of the new heat mechanic in Tekken 8 and the new aggression that the game's going to have, and etc, and people talking about the game looks just like Tekken 7, which is so much cap. Like, some of the stuff I've been seeing on Twitter honestly blows my mind, but it shouldn't because it's Twitter, and I understand that there's a lot of really stupid people out there who shouldn't have a voice on the internet, but they do because everyone has a voice on the internet. Yeah, so I've got some stuff pulled up here on my other monitor that we're going to take a look at. So we've got this big interview from Harada and Michael Murray, I believe, on IGN. We've got the trailer, some stuff on Twitter and everything, and then the IGN article breaking everything down. I thought this was paused, but it's not, but it doesn't matter because this video is just the same video as this. But yeah, I guess first things first, we're gonna go through the trailer again together because I just want to point some stuff out and talk about it, and then we'll watch the Harada interview, and then he'll probably explain a lot of things that I want to touch on anyway. So first things first, we have the trailer, right? Unreal Engine 5 is what this game is being made in, and Kingdom Hearts, yeah, it is what it is. June, which by the way, Harada confirmed on Twitter that June will be a playable character. Which I think we all assumed anyway. I definitely did, but she's not only a story character. He confirmed on Twitter that she will also be playable. Matter of fact, if I can find that tweet real quick, I'll pull it up. So here you go right here. I decided not only to have June appear in the canon story, but also make it playable. And this came directly as a response to someone's question on Twitter. So June will be playable, no doubt at all about that. Continuing on with the trailer, first, just the idea that this game looks the same as Tekken 7 is mind-blowing to me. Bear in mind that obviously the bitrate for this isn't crazy high, so it's going to be a little pixely and not as clear and sharp as the game will be when you're actually playing it, especially if you're playing it on like a high-end PC, max settings or whatever. But just first of all, Paul's design obviously looks drastically different, but even just the textures, the skin, the details, the hair, the clothing, everything looks totally different. And this is only 720p. Can I push this up to 1080? Like, I can't believe that there are people saying this game. I don't know, man. It don't look the same to me. It don't look the same to me at all. But what do I know? It don't look the same to me, but what do I know? Also, hold on here. Let me actually mute this. And then look at Law. Like, even just the detail and like the skin, the muscles and everything. Like in Tekken 7, the characters look pretty great. Like, I don't think the models look bad, but there's obviously way more definition in like the muscles and everything, and everyone's just like way more swole. I made a tweet talking about how ripped Law was. Everyone's like, he's on that man, I forget what they were saying. They were like, he's on the so-and-so diet, which basically everyone was just saying he's on steroids. And this is even finished. This is even the finished product. Like, if you look closer at this trailer, you can see like screen tearing and stuff. They're obviously still working on the visuals and the lighting and everything. Like, it's probably close to done, but it ain't even finished. It's just a trailer. I don't really get it, man. It's insane to me. It's insane to me. This is most likely Jack's intro. I would assume this is a King intro. Design wise, King looks pretty similar to his last iteration, but even then, man, like and this is another big concern people are having, right? This looks like some sort of like run cancel or part of the heat mechanic. Again, I haven't like dove into Harada breaking everything down yet in that interview, so we're gonna learn some more about this together. But from what I can gather, that it looks like this is part of like the new aggression or aggressive mechanic that's going to be in the game. This right here is a new stage interaction. As you can see, there's like these canisters here and everything blows up when Jack gets knocked into it. In my original video, I was like, whoa, was that a new like stage interaction thing? They have stage interactions in Tekken already. I assume this is going to be more the same. I say more the same, like building upon what they already established with like wall breaks and floor breaks and stuff. That'll probably be something. I don't know if you'll get a combo off of it or not. But yeah, it is what it is. You can see here Lars doing some more stuff. He was in heat. Looked like when he started his pressure here. Hold on, let's take this off of 25 speed. But I don't see anything in here to me that is immediately alarming. And there it is. You have Jin doing like, again, what looks like a run cancel. Like, I could see somebody going at this and being like, are they doing run, because it reminds me of MKX, right? You remember run cancels in Mortal Kombat X? And I don't know if like there will be meter in Tekken. That I would understand rubbing a lot of people the wrong way. That would probably also rub me the wrong way, because one of the biggest reasons why I didn't like characters like Akuma and Geese is because I feel like they played way too much like 2D characters. They didn't belong in this realm of video game, and they had meter, and they just were doing things that Tekken characters shouldn't be able to do. I get it, but it's a bit different if it's a new mechanic that they're incorporating that everybody can do and everybody has. I think that sits with me better than just like it being exclusive to a couple of characters, because now it feels like they're out of place. But even then, like, I doubt this will be like a metered mechanic. If it is, I'll be very surprised. But yeah, you can see Jin, he's in heat. He does like the little run thing to use his pressure. Also, another thing too, people are talking about like side steps. Like, well, Tekken have side steps? Like, you can't be serious. First of all, Jin literally does a homing move. That's literally a homing move. That right there, that little swipe is literally a homing move. And then there might have been more that happened in the trailer, but like this literally a homing move. And I believe Markman also took to Twitter and confirmed that sidesteps are in the game. I'm not sure entirely what Markman's role is in the development of this game and everything, but as we know, he has very close ties to Tekken and Bandai Namco, so he might have even played the game already for all we know and tested it out or done some things. If nothing else, I think it's a safe bet that he's at least seen some stuff and some gameplay, and if he says there's sidesteps in the game, there's no doubt in my mind that there are sidesteps in the game. Even though I never doubted it from the beginning. But it just, yeah, I mean, we're spending way more time on this than I originally wanted to, but I just feel like there's so much stuff in the trailer that people are like picking at, when if you really are paying that much attention, it is very clear answers to some of this stuff. Some of it, right? Obviously not all of it. But anyway, that's about enough of that. We're gonna get into this interview with Harada, because I already spent way more time on this than I originally intended to. But let's go ahead and check this out. And that's way louder than I thought it was gonna be. Also, I might shift my camera because I assume Harada will obviously be speaking in Japanese and there'll be subtitles, and I might be blocking them. So I'm actually going to move over here, maybe? Over here might be better. Michael Murray might also just be translating for Harada. That's also a possibility, I guess.
Jin Kazama, because people who are familiar with the character,
you know, this is actually going to be the first Tekken game where I'm really interested and kind of excited for the story in the game. I'm not gonna lie. I've never been super invested in the story of Tekken, like in the games, but I'm actually looking forward to playing this one a lot.
Throughout the whole models, you know, everything, the rigging, the skinning, their costume design, everything about them was made from scratch for this time.
Looks the same as Tekken 7, by the way. Shut up, Twitter, not Mike.
You know, Tekken is a 3D fighter, so this is really important that the camera.
Oh, say that again, Michael.
You know, Tekken is a 3D fighter, so this is really important.
Wait. One more time.
You know, Tekken is a 3D fighter.
A 3D fighter, you say? But in order for the game to be 3D, wouldn't that require a certain ability to move and, I don't know, sidestep Twitter? I that's one thing that does really blew my mind. People questioning whether or not Tekken 8 was going to have sidestepping. Like, all I saw was people running in a straight line and then they're doing run cancels and my pussy hurts. Shut up.
So this is really important that the camera, you know, goes 360 degrees, not just for cinematics, but while you're actually playing the game. In various situations
while you're playing the game too. So, I'm not saying it's going to be perfect. Every game has its flaws. I'm sure there will be a couple of things in the game that I don't like, and there'll be a bunch of things in the game that I do like. But it looks great to me from what I can see so far.
Really comes place in Tekken 8's story. We also see him fighting Jack 8 and showing off the new heat system. Tekken 8's core
not gonna lie, I don't care about Lars, but tell me about the heat system.
Talk about what influenced that concept and what that means for Tekken 8's gameplay.
Also, I've had some people ask me why I was hating on Lars in the video when he showed up. I was like, yeah, you could keep Lars. I just think Lars looks really stupid. I just think he's a lame looking character. His gameplay and his design just look really dumb to me. But that's just my opinion.
He's into staring each other down, I guess you could say, right?
So that's another one. That's another like line that kind of got picked out. And you know, discussed a bit on Twitter, and then there was a really great example that got shown by a user here. I have the tweet pulled up right here. Right, so Gluten TK, they were like, so, and I think this is them being sarcastic and ironic, right? So glad they're trying to cut down on these stare down situations in Tekken 8. So here we have a match between, it's very loud, between Ni and Lowhigh, right? And at the highest level of Tekken, you sometimes see instances like this where both players are kind of just jockeying for position and they're just playing in neutral and there's just all movement, no pokes, no jabs, no launches, anything being thrown out. And this is an example of what they're talking about. And the thing with this is that obviously for some players, this is really, really hype. But for some players, this is like, I don't understand the big deal, right? If you're somebody who's competent at all in the game or invested in Tekken, and maybe even if you're not, maybe just from like the effect of the people around you, right? And you're watching this, you're like, whoa, oh my God, this is so tense, this is so intense, this is so hype. But if you're somebody relatively new to fighting games or you're super casual or something, you're just like, this right here, you're just like, I don't. What's the big deal? see somebody like me, I'm like it's really tense and exciting. But I can obviously understand why that would be really boring for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like I can see that. And I think one thing fighting games are constantly trying to push and do, and then what a finish. And one thing fighting games are obviously trying to constantly do is cater more towards a casual audience, or invite more of a casual audience, and expand the player base and the reach of the game, while still maintaining the core of what the game is, but building upon that and maybe expanding and experimenting and whatnot. And I think people feel so strongly about a lot of this stuff because Tekken is such a legacy game where things have just been built upon and carried on over and over and over. But I think Harada makes a point at some point in this interview where it's like, you can't just do the same thing forever. At some point you have to shake it up, you have to throw in something new, you have to try something new. Also Leroy written back here, and Bob. What if Leroy makes a return? There's Bob, what is that, Bob Burger? Bob's Burger, isn't that a TV show? Anyway, yeah, actually, matter of fact, if you pay attention in the city enough, you might see a whole bunch of like Easter eggs and stuff or something, or some more hints. That's not something I've done personally, but yeah, like I don't fault Tekken. I'm not mad at it if they're gonna try some new stuff and some new mechanics. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'll like it, but I won't know if I like it till we actually play it. So, and I would agree with that. I honestly think it's a mechanic that I'm gonna have a lot of fun with. And I understand why like hardcore veteran Tekken players may not be the biggest fans of this idea or this concept, but I would at least say, can we try to go into it with an open mind and give it a shot before we, you know, tear it down and say this is stupid or this is bad, or this is ruining Tekken, or this is gonna kill Tekken, or something along those lines. I get it. The neutral and the movement is a very big aspect of Tekken, but like, can we try it first? I understand the cause for concern. I genuinely do. It's just, I've just seen people acting like the sky is falling already off of something that they've seen a minute of gameplay of. You know what I mean? And it just, I don't know. I just feel kind of weird about it. And I also understand that Tekken has never been like the super rush down heavy mix up game. And it's more about the pokes and then the knockdown, you get Oki and whatnot. But it's, I don't know, man. The sky's not falling for me.
It's designed to kind of story.
Damn, I was kind of hoping that they would touch more on the actual gameplay part, because a lot of this they've been touching on like story elements and whatnot. I was hoping that with the Kanzi and Jin stuff specifically, they would speak more on the gameplay, because you can see Jin does like that run cancel kind of looking thing, which I guess is, you know, because of the heat mechanic, and then like the one wing comes out, and then there's you know, the move that I said, it looks like it has to be a homing move and whatnot, but
in previous, I believe Tekken.
All right, so that's pretty much it when it comes to like all the gameplay stuff that they're talking about in this interview, in this breakdown. But yeah, I understand you know, the questions some people have and the you know, not necessarily aversion, but apprehension, I think is the word I'm looking for, that they have toward the game right now based off that trailer. But I think it's just still too early to tell. The game looks incredible both visually and from a gameplay wise. It looks, and from a gameplay standpoint, it looks pretty interesting to me, and I'm excited to see more and to actually play for myself. I don't know about you guys, but that's how I feel. Also, I have this other tweet pulled up from Tekken Gamer. It says, thoughts on Harada's IGN boxing comment. Mayweather is a defensive kind of fighter who jabs a lot, which finds opponent openings, etc., slow pace. We'll go the distance, right? I remember a lot of people thinking that, you know, Floyd Mayweather is a very boring boxer because he plays by the numbers. You know, he's a very methodical kind of boxer. And then you have a fighter like Mike Tyson, whose entire goal was to punch your lights out. He's trying to lay you out on your back. Very offensive, very, very powerful, aggressive. And I think, you know, people are looking at Tekken 7 as, or Harada and Mike are looking at Tekken 7 as more as like a Mayweather style game, whereas, you know, Tekken 8 would be more of a Mike Tyson style game. And I think this is a really good analogy. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me, and it doesn't make me like apprehensive or like oh, I don't like this. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I guess a lot of people are really worried when it comes to this mechanic, because it seems like it's going to take some of the neutral and footsies and spacing out of Tekken, because you're just able to kind of rush down your opponent, which isn't something that you typically do in Tekken, right? You know, being able to backdash out of certain situations or sidestep out of certain situations is something that's very commonplace in the world of Tekken, and including Tekken 7, even though movement's a bit nerfed in that game compared to previous games. Like if you compare Tekken 7 and Tekken Tag 2, or yeah, Tekken Tag Tournament 2, very different games in terms of movement. Like it's the same concept, but it just It's a lot better in tag, but I digress. The point is, there are going to be situations seemingly in Tekken 8 that you're kind of forced to hold defensively as your opponent just wails on you with this new offensive mechanic. And you know, it could be a hit or it could be a miss. I understand the cause for concern, but I do think that some people are just jumping the gun on just a tiny little bit before we actually see an actual match being played with it or get to play it for ourselves. And I also understand that, you know, this is something that could be very deadly as well in Tekken, because when you think about it, Tekken is already a game where you get hit with the right launcher or the right mid or something, or a screw move, and you're losing 40 to 50% of your life bar. Like when you make the right read or the right decision, you're rewarded with half your opponent's life. And so in a situation where you're forced to hold more offense and potentially get mixed up, like I get it. There might be rounds where you just don't get to play at all. Now, there's obviously a lot to be said when it comes to how often is the mechanic going to come into play, and that's just information that we don't have yet. Is this something that's going to be able to happen every round? Will it happen once every couple of rounds? Is there some sort of meter or something that will build up over time and you can only use it here or there? Like, we don't know yet. Like I said, I don't know if they're trying to incorporate meter and whatnot in a second, but there's just so much that's still unknown about this mechanic that I understand why it makes people concerned, but at the same time I feel like we don't have enough information to truly be concerned about it. But that's just my take and my opinion. You can tell how excited and invested I get in this stuff because I start talking so fast. But yeah, I get it, but I also don't get certain parts of it as well. But I don't know. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Hit this video with a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already so you can stay tuned for all this content that I'm bringing. And with all that being said, it's pretty much off today. And remember, nothing can happen until you swing the bat. Later.